Speaking of division, by the way, Joe Biden and the Democratic moderator, because they were losing the debate, went back to the only emotional attack line that has consistently worked throughout the Trump administration. It's the only terrible, awful thing they can accuse Trump of, which is he separated children from their parents at the border, right? He put kids in cages. You put kids in cages, you monster, I would never do that. So they launched that line of attack, but Trump was prepared for it.
They got separated from their parents. And it makes us a laughingstock and violates every notion of who we are as a nation.
Let me ask you a follow-up question.
They did it. We changed the policy.
Your response
to
that?
They did it. We changed.
Did not.
They built the cages. Who built the cages, Joe?
Let's talk about what
Who
we're
built the
talking
cages,
about.
Joe?
Let's talk about what we're talking about.
Well, we're talking about the cages. Well, I want to talk about what we're talking about. I don't want to be talking about the thing we're not talking about. Who built the cages, Joe? Well, I don't want to talk about that. Because the Obama-Biden administration built the cages, those photos that were going around showing kids in cages and it was so awful and Trump's the devil. Turns out those photos were from 2014. President Trump doesn't get elected until 2016. They were from the Obama administration. So he cuts him off right there. And then he makes a point about these kids separated from their parents. Very often, they're not being brought over by their parents.
We're going to talk about immigration now, gentlemen, and we're going to talk about families within this context. Mr. President, your administration separated children from their parents at the border, at least 4,000 kids. You've since reversed your zero-tolerance policy, but the United States can't locate the parents of more than 500 children. So how will these families ever be reunited?
Children are brought here by coyotes and lots of bad people, cartels, and they're brought here, and they used to use them to get into our country. We now have as strong a border as we've ever had. We're over 400 miles of brand new wall. You see the numbers, and we let people in, but they have to come in legally, and they come in through merit.
But how will you reunite these kids with their families,
let me just tell you,
Mr. President?
They built cages.
So it's not President Trump's fault necessarily that he didn't have the answer on this. None of us, I think, knew the answer on this until the Department of Homeland Security came out with it. But the premise of that question is complete BS. Right now, there are 485 cases where kids have been separated from their parents and it's under litigation. Not in one single case has the Department of Homeland Security found the parents and the parents wanted the kids back in their country of origin. Not in one case. 485 cases the parents have been contacted by the Department of Homeland Security and said, we've got your kid here. We will reunite you with your kid in the country of origin. Not in one case have the parents wanted the kids back. Why? Because they're sending their kids to America. There could be a perfectly sympathetic or, understandable explanation for this. But don't tell me that Donald Trump won't unite the kids with their parents. They're doing their best. DHS would like nothing more than to unite the kids with their parents in their country of origin. But that doesn't mean that you get to just blow out the open borders and abolish our immigration laws and let anybody come in. We already let, 2 million people a year in? Vast majority of Americans want that number to be dramatically lower by 50% or more, according to some polls. Can't do that. Can't do that. And if the parents don't want their kids back, we can't make them take the kids back. Trump mentions that these coyotes, these criminals are bringing the kids over. Apparently some people on the left don't know what coyotes are. There was a state representative, Dar'shun Kendrick, is a state rep in Georgia who tweets out, did Donald Trump just say 545 kids can't find their parents came over through cartels and coyotes? How the heck does a coyote bring a whole human across the border? Lord, stop talking. Final debate. When I saw that, I thought, I guess she's kidding too. There's no way she really, but I think actually she thought he was talking about the animal coyotes, not the criminals who are animals, frankly, if you ask me, bringing the human beings across. I just love that idea. Like, good Lord, stop talking. Are you that stupid, Trump? It's like when people say that, very often they are the ones who are missing something, such as David Hogg. He was that kid who became a micro-celebrity after a school shooting, and he led the fight to essentially abolish the Second Amendment, and then he was admitted to Harvard for doing that. David Hogg tweeted out, "Imagine calling the immigrant parents that bring their children to the United States for a better life coyotes. The level of xenophobia is sickening." And again, I wish I could say he were kidding, but I suspect he is not. He is not, and we need to raise the voting age in this country. How old is David Hogg? Is like 19 years old or something like that. He should not be voting. He should, whatever age he is, we need to raise the voting age above that number. He's at Harvard, by the way, so he is, at least according to the liberal establishment, he is one of the truly elite, intelligent, young people in this country, and still certainly should not be voting. I hope you enjoyed that short segment from the Michael Knowles Show. Be sure to check out the full episode linked in the description or download the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts.